It was a typical day of maritime patrol for the Sri Lanka Navy. Experienced sailors set off to carry out scheduled tasks in the country's coastal waters. At that moment, people did not even realize that today a truly shocking discovery awaited them. In the middle of the ocean, the keen eyes of one of the crew members noticed something strange floating on the surface of the water. At first, they thought it might be a very large dead fish. However, the sailors knew that they could not ignore this, and they must investigate the mysterious object. When they approached the target, they realized with horror that it was a real elephant. A huge land animal was incongruously in distress right in the middle of the ocean. It desperately fought against the tidal waves, trying to keep its trunk above the water in order to breathe and not drown. The sailors were shocked to the core. None of them had ever seen anything like this before. Obviously, the unfortunate animal needed to be rescued urgently, but the enormous weight and size of the elephant posed a serious problem for the rescue operation. However, this should not have stopped them. People, at all costs, had to lend a helping hand to the creature in trouble. Without delay, the sailors contacted the nearby Sri Lanka Animal Welfare Center. They knew that the center's experts would be able to provide valuable advice on how to save the elephant. Time passed, and the exhausted animal made plaintive sounds, only emphasizing the urgency and criticality of the situation. Soon a group of center specialists arrived at the scene. Seeing the creature floundering in the middle of the ocean, they were overcome with pity and determination to save it. The main goal of the rescuers was to pull the elephant out of the ocean, trying not to cause it additional suffering. Under the guidance of experts, a team of divers took action. Their task was to carefully approach the elephant and tie it tightly with ropes in order to tow it to the shore. The problem was that they didn't have the right equipment to lift that kind of weight aboard the ship. So the divers got close to the elephant and slowly started wrapping strong ropes around its body. Some dived under the water to check if the ropes were tangled in the animal's legs. Others climbed onto the elephant's back to securely fix the ends. Once the ropes were secured and the elephant had visibly calmed down, the team breathed a sigh of relief. The first stage of the rescue operation was successful, without causing aggression on the part of the powerful animal. An even more difficult task lay ahead of them: evacuating the elephant to a safe place. The divers tied the other end of the rope to the ship and began to slowly tow the elephant toward the shallow waters. The center staff reminded about the risk of rapid towing. The elephant may not have time to breathe air in time. Therefore, they carefully pulled the elephant along the waves, gradually leading it from the depths to the shallows. But at that moment, something terrible happened. The huge body of the elephant suddenly disappeared under the water. Panic-stricken sailors frantically tried to understand what had happened. Most likely, the elephant got tangled in the ropes and began to drown. The team quickly got its bearings and put in place a backup plan. Divers from the ship swam along the ropes to the place where the animal disappeared, this time armed with life preservers. It was with great relief that they discovered the elephant caught in the ropes. Acting in a coordinated manner, the divers attached life preservers to the animal's legs to give it additional buoyancy. By joining forces, people finally managed to push the elephant back to the surface. This scene was met with cheers from the crew on the ship. Although complete rescue was still a long way off, the elephant's return inspired everyone with new hope. Further progress was extremely slow. The divers swam side by side, helping the elephant move toward shore. Over the course of many hours, they covered only a very short distance. But there was no choice. The team stubbornly continued the operation, determined to save the rare creature. Finally, they reached shallow water, from where the long-awaited shore was clearly visible. The center's veterinarians advised a stop to give the elephant a break before the final push. There was a tense silence in the air. They were so close to success. After a short break, during which the life preservers were removed from the elephant's legs, the team resumed towing. The elephant swam with all its remaining strength. Veterinarians were already preparing to receive him ashore with the necessary assistance. Finally, after 12 exhausting hours, they reached the coastal strip. But instead of going ashore, the exhausted animal began to circle in place, either from fatigue or from disorientation. Seeing the elephant's dramatic thrashing, the sailors began to loudly encourage it and guide it towards the shore. It seemed that the last remnants of strength had returned to the exhausted creature. Hearing the call of the rescuers, the elephant decisively swam forward, powerfully kicking its legs and periodically gasping for air with its trunk. All the spectators held their breath, watching as the elephant, caught in the sea, approached the long-awaited solid land. Tears of joy rolled down the faces of those who witnessed this exciting scene. Finally, the completely exhausted elephant felt the bottom under his feet and hesitantly wandered towards land. When this majestic animal fully climbed onto the shore, the coastline was filled with jubilant cries and applause from people. The entire rescue team was euphoric from the successful completion of the operation. They watched with amazement and pride as the creature, which had just been rescued from the clutches of the elements, found solid support under its feet. The center's veterinarians immediately began examining and providing assistance to the emaciated elephant. Fortunately, despite the painful and long hours spent fighting the ocean, he did not suffer serious injuries. However, all the animal's strength was undermined by the exhausting struggle with the water element. With all the care and professionalism, the veterinarians freed the elephant from the rescue ropes and prepared a special nutritious treat. It contained various edible parts of plants rich in nutrients, as well as additives for restoring strength. As the elephant satisfied its hunger, new vital energy noticeably awakened in it. With every minute, more and more brilliance and strength flared up in his gaze. To the amazement of the spectators, about an hour after coming ashore, the proud animal was again standing at its full impressive height. At this touching moment, the elephant let out a deafening, loud roar. With this sign of gratitude, he seemed to greet and thank his saviors. Many could not hold back their tears upon hearing such an expressive display of gratitude from the creature who had just been rescued from trouble. A warm and strong connection quickly arose between people and animals, which clearly manifested itself after a jointly experienced dramatic adventure. It was a real triumph, worthy of the loudest applause.